Instruction, golf news, equipment, travel, interviews, course profiles, and more. Your weekly fix of all things golf is about to begin. It's the Flagstick Podcast with your hosts, Jeff Botter and Scott McLeod. Well, welcome everybody to the Flagstick Podcast. I'm Jeff Botter. He's Scott McLeod. And we got a pretty good show for you. But let's oh my God, I am like 2 days of relaxation. I'm already losing it. The Flagstick Podcast is sponsored this week by Cobra Golf. All new 3D printed irons featuring fully 3D printed club heads. These irons deliver unmatched blend of feel, forgiveness, and precision shaping that goes beyond the limits of traditional forging and casting. Experience the future of iron performance and get fit for Cobra Golf's 3D printed irons today. Visit cobragolf.ca for more info. Oh my goodness, I'm just out of whack. Before we get started, remind you to follow us across all social media networks, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Facebook. Subscribe to us on Spotify, Audible, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like us, and click the notification bell. Make sure you never miss a single episode or whatever we happen to put up on the YouTube channel that may be of interest. All right, now, it's mailbag time. That much I can tell you. Yeah. That's what this show is going to be all about. It's we'll call it the mid-season mailbag, the mailbag 2.0, mailbag 6.0, whatever you want to call it. It's a mailbag. This is where we take your questions and we answer them to the best of our ability or with outright lies. However you want.
Are you going to be okay? Are you going to be okay answering?
If we don't know the answer to your question, then we will just lie about it. No,
sure. There we go.
That. We'll trump you. Anyway, no, it's going to be a good show. I always like this one because we get a little viewer-listener interaction going on, which is always great to kind of. I think you call it mid-season, depending on where you live. This could be mid-season. This could be preseason. This could be late season.
It's middle of the year.
Exactly. So we're going to do that, and we're just going to kind of get caught up a little bit. Post Canada Day, if you will. If you want to call it that. But we will get into that as well as we kick off the front nine. You're presented by Metcalfe Golf Club, a natural setting, a pleasant challenge. Yes, the golf season is in full swing, and now is a great time to get those game packages. Adults, juniors, and families, always available online, so check that out. Also, Metcalfe celebrating their 50th anniversary, so we got some 50th anniversary specials. Was in the pro shop yesterday at Metcalfe, interestingly enough, and lots of goodies with the 50th logo on there. Get some merch. Visit metcalfegolf.com and stay in touch with Golf Savings, or you could pick up some of that just recently mentioned merchandise. Some cool stuff, actually. I was really impressed with some of the stuff.
Nice.
They have flags, the flags that are on the golf course, if people are interested in those, which I'm going to grab a couple myself because I do like to have a few flags. And since we were the ones that designed the 50th logo for Metcalfe this year, it'd be kind of nice to have a few little tidbits. Yeah. The towels are pretty cool looking too, to be honest with you.
You might want to grab them before their party because they're having their 50th anniversary party.
Yes, I know. I will be there.
So.
I will be there on
I assumed
Saturday.
You would be. Yeah.
It should be fun. I won't stay for the whole 6 hours that it's allotted for. It's not really a dinner and thing. It's kind of like, here's the time frame that it's going on, 5 to 11. I think there's some tickets available still if anybody's interested in going, but you have to have a ticket. There's nothing available at the door. The little casino thing going on. You get some chips as part of your ticket. Some food going on all over the place, little buffet style thing, and some
more big reunion more than anything, really, right? And that's kind of nice. I mean, they get to celebrate, and a lot of people kind of come back, probably see some familiar faces, and having recently had a good chat with Rob for something coming up. A lot of multi-generational families and stuff that played there, so kind of good for them. So
exactly. Now, what happened over the last
it's been
whatever? I can't even contemplate. You had tornadoes whipping through Kingston. Whatever thunderstorm garbage came through here on Canada Day.
Yeah, Ottawa, you
and
got like what,
absolutely wiped out
110,
every
100.
Canada Day friggin'
Yeah.
celebration in
Oh,
existence.
yeah.
Gone. The one in Greeley, just close to my
417 was a
house.
river.
Oh my God. It was insane. I went up to power went out yesterday, I think around 3 o'clock or 3:30. I just finished 9 holes at Metcalf.
Yeah.
Um and hit it like a champion too, I must say. I have to
Oh,
say, I
oh, there you
drove the
go.
ball ridiculously good yesterday. I hit the
Nice.
ball ridiculously good. I did not, in typical fashion, I think I ended up 38 for the nine I
Didn't
played, which
score.
is okay, but I had a couple birdies, so that means I look at that as a couple birdies and shot 38 and 9 holes on the 9 hole course at Metcalf. That's not a very good round, really. I mean, that means that there was four
Some
bogeys
stuff.
in there or some
Yeah,
other stuff over 9 holes. So that wasn't, but I hit it good.
that's good.
I hit it really good. I was really impressed. Lots of
Nice.
power. Drove it really
Really?
long. Yeah, I drove it long for me. Like I was probably averaging, no word of a lie, and I don't exaggerate how far I hit it. Believe me, I was probably hitting it in the 270 range.
Well, it's nice now
Um,
because we're actually getting a little bit of roll. Now we won't after, yesterday's
yeah, no, there's no roll.
swampiness, but yeah, I noticed that as well, that there is a little bit more rollout um,
Yeah.
early this week, which was nice to finally see for
No,
sure.
I
So,
was hitting at 270 all carry. But anyway,
well, no,
as I
two
said, I
seven,
don't exaggerate how far I hit it.
no,
Um,
270 wouldn't have got you too far at the Endless Summer Long
no,
Drive
no, I was gonna
Championship.
say,
That's
so
for
that's
sure.
so I golfed. You went to Endless Summer, the long drive
Yeah,
competition up in Belleville.
yeah.
We had storms running through here, so good
Well,
thing
that was
was you
Friday
got you
night.
got your part in the previous weekend, so you didn't have to
Yeah,
worry about the storms. But
yeah.
um, what was that? How did that go? Because
The
I mean, that's
vibe was great. Actually, the girls came up with me because they kind of wanted to see it, and yeah, they had about 700 there for the finals. They had over 1,200 for the kind of the 2 days as far as the different events and so forth, and no bugs, which was kind of nice, and ended around 11 o'clock under the lights at Trillium Wood, and this is the Endless Summer Long Drive Championship. Ended up being a head-to-head match, and a guy named Logan Schott from Indianapolis won in his head-to-head. So he was 391 to finish that off. And then there had been a few drives over 400 during the competition. And then Anna Drahos from Maryland won the women's side of it. Unfortunately, Kelly Redney, the defending world champion, got eliminated in it would have been the semifinals. And then Anna took it down with 302 in the finals. So a lot of hitters. This is their biggest field that they've ever had from all over the world as far as Singapore. The vibe was really, really good. Very impressed. The fifth year that the long drive portion has happened. I mean, this started as a pro-am 10 years ago, but a lot of success on the Thursday Pro Am. Heard a lot of great things about people playing that. Heard great things from the owner Steve McCurdy. They were excited to host it, but yeah, it had a lot of vibe, a lot of energy. DJ going the whole time. Lots of kids out there. High fiving the athletes, getting autographs. Like it was, yeah, it was genuine. And if you catch some of the video and stuff online, when you see the fairway all lit up down
yeah.
one and everything, it was great. So yeah, it was a lot. It was a long night, but it was good to attend, and good luck to them for next year. They should be announcing some details for 2027 soon.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we already talked about Canada Day and how things were pretty much washed out.
Well, quickly on that one though, we did have like a bunch of golf courses closed for the day, but we actually had Garrison actually end up closing for they were closed the day before because we had that big tornado came
Yeah.
through the tornado warning. We don't know whether we had a touchdown yet or whatever. Ripped probably a 60-70 foot tree out of the
Phew.
fairway on 18. So that closed the golf course that day and all of yesterday as well. And then, yeah, it was just a continual stream of storms, and all I saw online were golf courses closed for the day, closed for the day, closed for the day. So
Yeah.
Hopefully we're through the unstable stuff and we can kind of get back to some normalcy. But yeah, good luck to all the superintendents and all the staff doing all the cleanup and stuff
Mm.
like that, because that's a lot of work when those trees get shredded and there's just leaves and branches kind of everywhere. So yeah, so
All I know is my son Brandon happened to last night before he went to bed. He says, "Well, he says I'm pretty sure I'm going to be on bunker washout cleanup
yes,
duty
yes,
today."
yes,
Given how much rain we got, and
yeah.
when you get bunkers that are the steepness of some of the bunkers at some of these golf courses, the washout does.
Yes. Yeah, they
The
were
washout is a big thing, so they're spending a lot of time fixing
yeah.
some washout areas and bunkers, and
Yeah,
like you
after that
said,
one
trees.
on Yeah, after that one, I was talking to Jason Boyce at Smugglers, which we'll get to in a second here. But yeah, that was the activity, main activity they were after as well, was obviously dealing with the washouts and the bunkers and rebuilding the bunkers. So again, a lot of gratitude to those the staff of the golf courses. People just don't really, I don't think they fully understand the work that has to go back in to the golf course after a storm like that.
No, no. Now, okay. So with that all in mind, that big storm behind us, our power went out for about 5 hours. Eventually, it came back on. Everything was good. Just about ready to fire the generator up and get the power going back to the house. But I don't like to do that unless I know it's going to be out for a while, because you're
Sure.
just wasting gas for what you can sit
Yeah.
around in the dark for a little while. It's no big deal. Um, you mentioned Jason Boyce, Smuggler's Glen. We have the Flagstick Shootout coming up next week. Not this weekend, but next weekend, the 11th, 12th
hmm
of July. I'd like to lie and say that we've got a couple spots left open, but we have quite a few.
Yeah,
For
we do.
whatever reason, we're not getting the field filled up as quickly as we normally do for this event. Some other things are going on that weekend, I know, so that's kind of hindering it a little bit. But there are spots open. It is for every index level. It is not an elite field one
Yes.
division tournament. It is a multi-division tournament. It doesn't matter what your scores are like. We have people right now indexes from +5 all the
hmm
way up to 14 or 15, I think, right now. So you're going to get slotted into a division of players amongst your similar index. So, and you're going to be competing with them
Yep.
unless you're competing for the overall title in one of the A or B flight this year.
Right.
So get to flagstick.com or flagstickshootout.com and register. The draw will be happening probably next Tuesday, is
Yep.
usually when I do it. So we'd like to get you in there. Good price, good
ASAP.
registration package from Cobra Puma, who's been a huge supporter of this event. Really nice registration package for everybody that's participating. Some little bonuses for those that are playing this year that nobody else is going to have access to except at this tournament. So you may want to get registered, so at least maybe you get a chance to get something that nobody else is getting, to be able to
hmm
um, you know wear around the golf course. Anyway. So there's that.
as
God
he
man,
checks
it
it.
took you forever to just clue in.
I was busy with my
Anyway,
coffee. I was like
anyway,
wondering, why is he manhandling his hat?
anyways, we'll leave it at that. Get
Yeah.
registered. The 2026 Flagstick Academy Instruction Series presented by Castleview Golf and Country Club is now live on the YouTube channel and
Yep.
will pop up occasionally into your Flagstick Digest content.
hmm
All the tips are up and ready to go, and just reminding everybody too that I believe that February the 15th, 14th or 5th, or February, July 14th or 15th is
February.
when I'm going to be sending the next edition of Flagstick to the printer.
Okay.
So, which means that it will be ready for delivery potentially as early as Friday the 17th. I'm trying to get dates in my mind. Yes, I think Friday the 17th, or as late as the following Monday, but that depends on printing and when it gets shipped to my door.
Yeah.
So that's happening soon, very
hmm
soon. So look for that. Okay. Well, let us get to the main event
Mailbag.
of this episode of the podcast, the mailbag. Um, Not much else to get into with this week's show. We got a lot of questions,
Yeah.
and we'll push through as many of them as we can. What we got left in the front nine here, and then we'll move them to the back nine, and we'll keep on going until we
You got
decide
it.
to stop. Clock runs out. That's when we'll stop.
All right.
Okay. Let
You want me to get
sip.
into them?
Mhm.
Sip. Gotta get the sip in.
I need to do a double sip.
Oh, need the coffee. It's a
Mm.
coffee day.
Okay. Now, mailbag, mailbag. Um, Question one. I heard your podcast on etiquette, and I totally agree.
Wonder what
I
they agree
see.
with.
Thank you very much for agreeing. I see more bad behavior than ever. Should we, as golfers, be reporting it, or just let the staff find out and deal with it?
Hmm. I think that one's pretty
Well,
obvious.
I think it is pretty obvious.
I, yeah, I mean, people shouldn't feel like a snitch. I mean, should feel like you're, protecting
Sense of
the
duty.
facility. Yeah, I mean, other things. I mean, we just saw. I don't know. I assume you saw there was a golf course that we know. I'm not gonna name it, but let's say it's a smaller golf course, and they decided that, with their little short course the way it was, and people were just continuing to abuse it, divots out of greens, taking the flags and like stabbing the greens and stuff like that. They decided that they're going to make it just only open for their camps and for their members and stuff like that, rather than having it open for the public. I mean, but this is the stuff that's happening, um you know far too often. It happens every year. We see it all over the place,
Yeah.
but it just seems to be there's more and more of it. But the unfortunate part is that a lot of times it's done and away from the eyes of people, and then for that reason, unless there's some sleuthing going on where they figure out, who when it happened, as far as the order of play, and they can go work back through the T sheet, because I've had to do
It's
that
hard to pin
over
it
the
down.
years. It's hard to pin it down, but yeah, if somebody sees something happening, yeah, you should definitely report it. I think it's a no-brainer. I mean, do you want those people out there just continuing to abuse your golf course?
The biggest thing that happens wrong, the more often than not, is, and it's not just on golf courses and etiquette and bad behavior and stuff like that. It's in general. We as a society, and I'm getting kind of societal here, but we as a society see things that are not right, see
Mm,
things happening that shouldn't be happening, and our reaction is we don't want to get involved. So
right,
we turn the other way, we walk the other way, and we're like, it's not my problem. I'm
right.
not,
True.
but it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It's all,
It's not my
all of our
problem until it is
problems.
a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all of our problems.
Yeah.
And when you look at a golf course and you see somebody, take a chunk out of a green, or, you know, um, you're playing with a
Abuse of
group and a guy
carts
doesn't pitch
or
a pitch mark, or you see an abuse of a cart, or like whatever the case may be. If
yeah.
you don't report it, then whoever it is that's
Yeah.
doing it just automatically assumes that it's okay to keep doing, and they might do it again later on the round. Sooner or later, that's going to come back to affect you.
Yeah. It's
Or
accountability,
whether it's the
right? So,
cost of something,
mhm.
you see
Yes.
more of this stuff happens. These things cost money to fix the problems.
Sure.
um you I don't know, I mean, I almost feel like if you're a member at a golf course, or you pay a green fee to play a golf course, you
Mhm.
almost have a responsibility to protect the entity to
Yeah.
which you're
Well,
making use of.
yeah, let's put this in context. I mean, the exact same thing that you said. I mean, a golf cart now costs, $10,000.
Yeah.
In that range. They're expensive. And if all of a sudden, somebody is out there abusing those golf carts,
Hmm.
driving them inappropriately, damaging them in some way, hitting them with a golf club or whatever, as you said, if they have to replace those or deal with, insurance issues or whatever, that's going to result in increased costs. And
Mm-hmm.
so, just you as a golfer, if all of a sudden your green fee has to start going up, and you're complaining about the green fees going up, well, guess what? That's one of the factors. It's
Yep.
not just about it's just not about greed. And really, as you said, it's accountability.
Mm-hmm.
And unless people are held accountable, they will continue to do the same thing over and over again. So, it's not fun when you're the staff to have to confront golfers. But people also should realize, you're it's a privilege, right? So,
Yep.
so yeah, straight out, report it. Don't feel like you're a snitch or whatever. Like, look, if somebody's, not fixing their ball marks, it's like, okay, that's a little bit more minor, but you can certainly mention it to them if you're playing with them and stuff like that. But when it definitely comes to, things that are damaging the property, and it's no good. It's no good at all. It's no good for
We
anyone.
all
So
have to play on these golf courses. Take pride,
yeah,
respect. Simple as that.
yeah,
That's all it is respect.
that's it for
All
sure.
right.
100%.
All right. Next one. I constantly hit my long irons fat or thin. Should I
Hmm.
just give up on my 4 and 5 iron and buy more hybrids? I think. Do you want my honest opinion? If you keep hitting
Yeah,
your, I
fire
think
fire
no.
away.
I'm just kidding. Um, it depends. Are you looking for a quick fix? I mean,
Yeah,
like if you're hitting your shots fat, there's a reason why you're hitting your shots fat. It's not necessarily because you're hitting long irons or hybrids.
correct.
I mean,
Exactly.
it's
Yeah,
probably
yeah, yeah, yeah.
something. It's probably something that having a hybrid would hide a little bit, but
Potentially,
chances
yeah.
are, if you're hitting your irons fat, you're probably going to hit your hybrids fat as well. Um, you know, having a hybrid doesn't necessarily mean that you're not gonna, like, if your ball
No.
position's wrong or your attack angle's
Yep.
incorrect, then
Yep.
that's not gonna change. So something else might
No.
happen.
Yeah.
So my opinion would be you might want to have the swing looked at first before
Mm,
just going and trying to quick fix it, band-aid it with a piece of equipment. I think that's a big
yeah.
mistake that a lot of people make, period, is you just
Hmm.
automatically you're not hitting the ball the way you want to hit it.
Yeah.
And somebody on the internet says that my savior, my hybrid is my savior. I always hit my long
Yeah.
irons fat until I got a hybrid, and you go out and buy a hybrid. Well,
Yeah.
how about go get the swing looked at first,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then, you know,
Yeah.
if it's maybe it's something simple. Hybrids are
Yeah.
easier to hit. That's not
Yeah. And
here. So
and
I hit hybrids. I used to play 2 irons and 3 irons. I don't
yeah.
anymore. I have a couple of hybrids now.
Yeah. I mean, I have 7 wood now and I love the thing. I'm on my second generation of that. I had a hybrid, 20 some odd years ago, but yeah, yeah, you're right. I mean, going to a piece of equipment, it's not a silver bullet. So it's not as easy as saying, hey,
What?
this happens. If you do this will be fine. Yes, if we look at, the nature of a hybrid with the, wider sole shape and so forth, it can potentially be helpful, but that's something that has to be looked at individually. It's not something that we summarily can say based on your question and provide that advice and say, yes, it will make a difference. As you said, it's a lot easier with a lower center of gravity, generally a little bit hotter face, wider sole to obviously launch that hybrid, easier than that 4 and 5 iron. The miss hit on the 4 and 5 iron when you're hitting it, you know, thin, I guess, especially, will be, the misses will be more dramatic than they would be with a hybrid. So it doesn't fix it. It just might make it better. But again, that's really the individual more than anything. So talk to your coach, talk to your fitter, and then go from there.
There you go. All right. How do I know when it's time to change my wedge? I practice a lot with my lob wedge. Uh,
I got a simple one for that one.
Giver.
I mean, I mean, really, if you look at it, it's a lot about stopping power more than anything. I mean, if you look at somebody's wedge and they have a significant amount of face wear, and you see the chrome's off and the face is starting to deform, that one's pretty easy to see it. But if it's not that bad that way, it really comes down to a choice about stopping power. So if you're hitting if you're hitting your full sandwich, for an example, and let's say you hit it 100 yards, and again, this becomes a choice as far as when you want to do it or not. But let's just say you hit that 56 degree from 100 yards, and on a normal green surface, no wind, it stops in, like, 7 to 10 feet. Well, if you hit that exact same one, and that stopping power, it doesn't stop, and it comes in on the same trajectory and whatever, but it doesn't stop until like 20 feet. That's when you're starting to notice that there's some friction issues and they're changing. Again, it's up to you as far as when to change it, but that would be the indicators. Is really about the stopping power. And if we look at wedges, there's a bunch of studies done, and we're not going to push in the studies by particular manufacturers, because obviously, it can be in their favor as far as to sell more equipment. But I would say just monitor the stopping power. And if you start to see, even short spinny wedges, ones that you're trying to hit like a 30-40 yarders and stuff like that, and you're not getting any friction there, and it's consistently that way, and your technique is okay, then you may want to consider it.
And that was the simple answer.
Yeah, sorry. You don't want to get to the complicated one. Stopping power.
Yes, exactly. That's it. If you really like your wedges, I just happened to pick up myself, just used off of Facebook Marketplace, grabbed a couple of beryllium copper wedges, Cleveland wedges, which I really always liked, and happened to see them on Facebook Marketplace. Cheap, grabbed a couple. I knew what I was getting into with them. I knew they wouldn't be in great shape for the age of them, but they were in better shape than I thought. But the first thing I noticed was the grooves were a little shallow.
Yep.
And the sharpness of the edges, you could get a little bit of rollover because the material too it'll wear them softer, a little bit quicker. Yep. So I just got them regrooved. So they're regrooved. The grooves are nice and sharp now. Played with them yesterday with the recently regrooved grooves, or played with them Canada Day, whenever. And the stopping power was significantly better than it was the first time I took them out when I first got them, where it kind of just hit the green and kind of rolled out a fair bit. This time, turf conditions made a difference too, whether hitting from the fairway or the rough more often than not, but definitely stopped the ball quicker with them regrooved. So if you really like your wedges, you can always take them somewhere that somebody that knows something about repairing clubs or restoring clubs, and if you really like them, you could potentially get them regrooved. Some can't be, and some aren't going to make a bit of a difference if you do, but some are, and
not the kind of job you want to tackle yourself, because
no, definitely not. And these aren't the kinds of wedges that have that sort of abrasive face technology that's in some of them now, with the different milling that they have on the face of the clubs, and the different the way the clubs are designed with more of a rough face. Mm-hmm. These weren't to begin with in the first place, so you're not necessarily going to be able to restore that if you're really good at your wedges and you got like a silver dollar size spot wore in there, or a quarter size spot wore in the middle of them. You might even get that wedge start to get a little concave there.
Yeah, and you'd have to really love the wedge a lot to go to the extent of getting something remilled. As far as you can get CNC milling done on a face and redone, but yeah, you definitely,
you might want to, you really would like your wedge in that case.
Yeah, a lot, but it's still, again, as wedge prices go higher, then those start to become more options more than anything. But exactly. Yeah, and really, even when you look at it from a the groove standpoint, it's not going to hurt you as much in a dry condition, because really, the grooves just act like a tire tread. So really, they make the biggest difference more in rough and in wet, when you have moisture and you have material where it's got to take away the material. So, but yeah, so there you go.
Okay, let's we've got time for one more before the break.
Sure.
Bought a driver off the rack with a stiff shaft, because my swing speed is around 95 miles per hour. Okay. I can already tell that we have a conversation to have here.
Sure.
But I'm hitting it lower than ever. Do I need more loft or a regular flex? I'm not going to tackle this one right now. I might chime in after you're done, but I'll let you tackle this one, because I definitely know where this is going.
Yeah, well, let's look at loft more than anything. The head will have a bigger impact than the shaft will. Shaft is pretty much a timing device. It can lead to we'll call it lead deflection, trail deflection with the shaft. I'm not going to get into the the different axes of the shaft and how the shaft moves, but the head will have a greater impact as far as the loft is concerned. So yes, chances are now you've got an adjustable club head, so you can probably add a little bit more loft to it. Chances are the contribution from the shaft perspective, again, this is really generalized because, there's not a lot of standards as far as the shaft. So even saying a stiff shaft and your club head speed, it's not relative because, it depends how you release the club. It depends on, how you load the shaft. There's a lot of different factors and things here. I would just say start with the loft more than anything, uh, and then go from there. So why don't you throw in your contribution here, Jeff? Because I don't want to get too complicated
Well,
into
no,
this
I
one.
mean
So
the only thing the first thing I was, I bought a stiff shaft because my swing speed is 95, and right
yeah,
off the bat, I'm like, okay, you bought a club off the rack with a stiff shaft because your swing speed is 95, and already I'm
right,
thinking, well, why did you buy a stiff shaft just because your swing speed is 95? Did you actually
right,
hit it?
yeah. Well,
Because your
to
swing
give you
speed
an
might be
example,
95 with,
yeah,
you
to give you an
obviously,
example, so at Endless Summer,
yeah.
right? So there's golfers there that were swinging in up to 150 miles an hour. Those players are using M0, a lot of them M0 shafts. So these are softer than you would
Yeah.
a lot of other people because so again, it's a dynamic element to the golf club. So you're trying to get it to do its certain things. So unfortunately, while it's convenient to package everything and categorize it and say, you're 95, you're this, doesn't work that
But
way.
that's the way it
Uh,
used to be. I mean, you know what
it
it was
still
like when we
is
were at the
very
retail
much.
and we were fitting
Yeah.
equipment. It was all
Yep.
about club head speed. Like what
Sure.
if
Of
you
course. Yeah.
you're 95, well you're stiff. Well, no,
Yeah.
not. But now we know a lot
Yeah.
more
We know
about
better.
about,
Yes.
and there's more shaft options available to people now
Sure.
than there ever was before. And those long drivers, I mean, they're far more interested in ball speed than they are club head speed. They want the ball jumping off the club face at the highest amount of ball speed that they can possibly get. They might not necessarily swing, 130 miles an hour at one, and it'll come off the ball speed just because of the way they hit it. The ball speed is going to be lower if they hit, 175 miles with another, or 125 miles with another one, and it's the squareness of the face. It's everything's better, and the ball speed comes off higher. Then
Hmm.
they might necessarily launch that one further. So
Hmm.
there's more factors included in that than
Ton.
just club head speed.
Yeah.
That's just the first indication I always hear now
Yes.
is when I hear someone
Yeah.
say, I swing fast, I should have a stiff shaft. And I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, nah,
No.
maybe, but not necessarily.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, and
you
and
know,
you're right. I mean, the philosophies and the knowledge has changed a lot. I mean,
yeah,
again, I had the rep for TrackMan. I was talking to Brad Boyle during that event, and we were actually talking about the fact that all these long drivers, 10 years ago, they were all playing with like triple X and
yeah. And now
quad
they're
X
not.
shafts, and now they're not because they're looking at different ways to go about the science of it. So, all this to say, you have to dynamically you have to try these, so you have to go through and fit. So yes, it can be a clue that you need to do this and that. And even when we look at it from a loft perspective, I mean, again, people have to realize that just because they're a high club head speed player, they're not
Hmm.
necessarily going to need lower loft, because it's one other factor. If you go on tour and look at players, there's super high speed players that
Yeah.
have 11 degrees of loft. So yeah, it's not as simple as just boom, buy it off the rack and away we go from
And
here.
I was playing with someone on Canada Day there, and they were talking about. I was watching them hit shots, but they were concerned that they were hitting the ball too high. And
I
I'm
love that
looking, and
one.
and first of all, we're playing with another golfer that hits the ball extremely high,
Yep, I know
and
how proud that golfer is. Yep.
and the other player was hitting the ball um, much lower than that, but felt they were hitting it too high, and
Right.
they were talking about loft of the club. I think I should have a lower loft, and I'm watching the
Hmm.
swing, and I'm seeing the attack angle. I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm not so sure that the loft of the club is dictating the height. First of all, second of
Hmm.
all, that's not high.
Hmm.
Like I don't know
Yes.
what high is in your, but I mean
Uh-huh.
the height of your shot. That's not a
Yeah.
high ball flight. That's a pretty decent trajectory for a driver. So I
Yeah.
don't know why you'd want to hit it any lower
Yeah.
than that, except that maybe that's what you're accustomed to seeing,
Right.
and you think that that's your ball flight when really your ball flight should have been the height that it is now. So everything might actually be ideal with your club,
Hmm.
and you just
Yeah.
don't like the way it looks because it's not what you're accustomed to seeing. So you're going to
Yeah.
lower the loft, and you're going to
Hmm.
bring the hang time down, and
Yes.
your ball's gonna hit the ground sooner. And if it's wet out, your ball's not gonna go as far. So you want the
Correct.
carry yards. You want to get the ball with the
Correct.
driver up in the air, unless you're into the wind and you're trying to knock it down, which most people don't know how to do properly anyway. So,
No.
take it for what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say there's just a lot of people that don't hit it as high as they should, and that is a number one struggle all the time from a fitting perspective, where people just don't have enough loft. And you're right. They hit something 40 feet high and they think it's super high, and then they go see a tour player and they're all of a sudden hitting it 120 feet, and they're like, "Whoa, is that too high?" No,
Yeah,
they're the ones actually hitting it the furthest. So
exactly.
maybe there's a lesson to be learned. It's not all about roll. So.
Exactly. Okay. We're up at it. We're against the clock here now, so we're going to take a
Okay.
break. And when we come back on the back nine of the Flagstick podcast, we're going to open more of your mail in the mid-season mailbag and answer those questions. So stay with us. You're listening to and watching the Flagstick podcast with Jeff Botter and Scott McLeod.
The future isn't forged, it's printed. We've combined 3D printing and state-of-the-art engineering to revolutionize how golf clubs are made. Our internal lattice saves an incredible amount of weight and moves it where it matters most. Irons with unmatched feel, forgiveness, and precision, all engineered into a compact player's shape. Performance only possible with 3D printing. Only possible with Cobra Golf.
Well, all right. Welcome back to the Flagstick Podcast. I'm Jeff Botter, Scott McLeod. We are going to continue our discussion about the mailbag, our mailbag segment here on the back nine, which is presented by Falcon Ridge Golf Club, featuring 27 holes of fun and challenging golf at great rates. Falcon Ridge is a golfing experience you should not miss, and do not forget, Falcon Ridge has built the first TrackMan range facility in Eastern Ontario. TrackMan Range is all about exciting, easy-to-use features that provide the ultimate range experience. Easy-to-use features, for golfers at every single level. That's practice, games, and virtual golf. To book tee times or to book one of the 10 TrackMan Range bays, visit falconridgegolf.ca. I do apologize for whatever reason. I have no speaking ability today. I'm usually way better at kind of controlling and flowing this podcast, but I suck big time today. This is like being a 2 handicap and going to your golf course and shooting 105. That's what I feel like today. Is like
Well,
I'm
hey,
missing every tee shot. I'm missing every green. I can't get up and down. I'm three putting everything from 3 feet. It is an abomination of my podcasting host ability. So we're just gonna bear with me till I get through all this, and then we'll be better next week, people.
that's your problem when you take a few hours off and
I
your
know.
brain just not into it.
You
So
gotta
yeah,
grind. You gotta
yeah.
grind. You gotta be repeating the process. Okay, let's get at it here. More questions. Why do tour pros always take their glove off before they putt? Does it actually improve touch, or is it just a habit? You know what? Learned behavior is what I would honestly. I don't know. I'm going to say I
Can
don't
be
know
both.
myself personally.
Yeah,
I don't know if there is actually. I'm assuming it's a feel thing. I
yeah.
don't know if it actually does make a difference in your ability to putt. I know that I generally, depending on how I feel that particular day, like yesterday, my glove was sweaty and wet,
Yeah.
and taking it on and off would be a major
Pain in
pain
the
in the
butt.
behind. So
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
putted with it on, and I putted great. And the last
Yeah.
time I golfed, I was taking it out of and putting it in my back pocket like a tour special, and
Yeah.
I couldn't putt worth a crap. So I personally don't think it matters one way or the
No.
other, but I'm sure that there is some feel factor included here that the techies will
Yeah, I mean, if you dig
like
into it
aim
from a
point.
science wise, maybe, but again, I think it's very individual. I think you're right. I think it's a learned habit or anything. I find, I mean, it's funny because, you think back of when maybe you started doing it or one way or the other. It's like,
Why'd you
okay,
do it?
well, yeah,
Because you
well,
saw
that's
Fred
it.
Couples doing it, or you saw Jack Nicklaus
Yeah,
doing it. And
again,
it's the same as hockey players. You see all this stuff that these young kids, they all 10-year-olds with the scrums and the pushing and shoving in front of
right.
I played hockey
Yeah,
when I
it's
was
a learned
10,
behavior.
and
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
never ever
Yeah,
ever did
yeah,
that. We never
yeah,
went up the boards fist pumping our buddies
sure.
after a goal. We put our stick in the
Yeah,
air. Some guys came over and patted you on the head. You went back to center
yeah,
ice and you did it again.
yeah,
It's to me a lot of it's learned behavior.
yeah,
You
very much.
do what you see.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is that way. So yeah, when you look at it as far as the the habit or stuff like it's a personal choice.
Yeah.
I mean, you decide why you want to do it. I know for me, it's funny because I used to hit like chips and pitches and stuff, and I'd pull the glove off for that. But I find more and more I just kind of leave it on. For
You're
some
older.
people too, it's preservation of the glove, because if they just have it on constantly or they're pulling it on and off, I mean, one or the other could
I think if you're
lead to.
pulling it on and off, you're
You'd
putting the
think
glove
so.
through a lot more than if you just leave it on. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had my glove was all sweat. It wasn't wet. It was sweaty yesterday. I took
yeah,
it off.
yeah,
Finally took it off. Put it in the like on the outside of my golf bag to dry out. I went to
yeah,
just move something out of the garage. The glove is like all
yeah,
wrinkly and it's done. Like I mean, I don't know that glove is gonna be good again.
yeah.
Trying to open a new pack.
Yeah.
Um,
So again,
yeah,
I think
there
it's
you
just
go.
a learned habit. I don't think there's a right or wrong in it. It's just your choice. Does it improve touch? Technically, if you're making more direct contact with a surface, you'll have enhanced feel, but that's about it. So again, doesn't make you better or not. So yeah.
Um, is it me or are the majors too condensed on the LPGA and Champions Tour? It's starting to feel like they have less value. What do you guys think? Well, what us guys think is that I think you're right. Do they have less value? They're still majors, so I don't think
Yeah.
they have less
Yeah.
value. But I
Yeah.
do feel like on those two tours in particular that they
Mm,
are, you know,
pretty
I don't think that major championships should be back to back like that close
Yeah.
together. I
Yeah.
think that they should be spread out. You kind of feel like their major championships are like one a month or one every. On the PGA Tour, you've got obviously one in April, and then you've got the Players
PGA.
Championship, which is in May, which isn't a major,
No.
and then you've got the U.S. Open in June. You've got the Open Championship, or sorry, you got the PGA in May.
Hmm.
Then you got the U.S. Open in June. You got the PGA Championship in July, and you've got the playoff series or whatever they do in August now.
Yeah.
It'd be
But I
interesting to
mean,
see
when you're
what happens with the PGA Tour in particular when in 2028 when they go back to this new this different format.
yeah.
Maybe they end up moving the PGA back to August.
Yeah, but I think it's more, as they refer to, I think it's more in the champions in the LPGA. I think the problem is that you've got five majors for each of those, so that creates a little bit more,
So why though? Why is there five majors? Like obviously both the PGA Tour existed before both of those other tours existed.
Sure.
So and there was four majors on the PGA Tour before there was ever majors on like before there were majors on the LPGA Tour.
Hmm.
So why would you have five? I mean tennis there's four.
Yeah, I
Golf
think it's,
PGA Tour
I
there's four. Why five? Who did like
I think in the case of, some of the different ones, and especially, I mean, here's the thing. LPGA has a break in between, but the KPMG and the Avion are back to back technically with a week break in between. In that case, PGA is a different story, but the Avion, that's a money thing. That's a
well
sponsor
that's the
came in
thing.
with
So you've
money
got
thing.
the, you've got
So
the
same thing
the
on the Champions Tour side of it. They had an event that was in there that all of a sudden, somebody comes up with big money and you make it a major.
So on the
Yeah,
LPGA, you've got the LPGA Championship, which just happened.
yeah,
You've got the U.S. Open. You've
yep,
got the Open Championship, the Women's Open Championship,
hmm,
and you've got the Evian,
yep.
and then you've also got the what used to
Well,
be the Dinah Shore. It's
Chevron, but
Chevron.
they had three in 6 weeks. So from June 4th to 7th, and then June to July, 9th to 12th, there's five events, and three of them are majors.
Well, yeah,
So
but you've also got the Dinah Shore was existed
mhm.
before the before the Evian Championship, right?
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
the
and then the Evian
Demore,
came along because of money.
well, yeah, and the Demore used to be a major as well. So, but yeah, the Avion is, it was a fifth major that was sort
Demorier.
of Well, but that was, but the Demorier Classic was a major, right? So, I mean,
Yeah.
until what, 2003, 2004. But yeah, I think the problem is that, when you have 5 majors each, it's a little harder to separate them out. And as you mentioned, if you look at the strength of something that happens with the players, we'll call it a, 4.5 on the men's side or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, next thing you know, if you and the tours don't want trying to have these not competing on the same weeks. So the issue is that you end up with back to back to back to back. It's like, oh, that major finished, but this major is happening on this tour, and then this major is happening. So yeah, it does become a little bit diluted. It probably doesn't if you're isolated and looking at those particular tours by themselves. I think the thing is that from a fan perspective, it seems like there's a major every week because you're talking about 3 different tours. So you're talking about, 14 official majors between those 3 tours. So I don't think they have less value. I just think they have less they have less they have less draw from a fan standpoint because there's not the buildup. And as we know, that's part of the reason why the Masters is such a big thing, because there's such a buildup leading into that, and there's a kind of a thirst by the time it shows up to see an event, and then all these happen in such a short period of time. I think it kind of dulls the appeal of them more than anything.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. That's the answer to your question. Okay, just kind of bumping ahead here. Any suggestions for a course to play in the Upper Ottawa Valley when we were on vacation a few weeks? You're staying at Golden Lake. That's halfway between Killaloe and Eganville. Homestead or Whitetail? Yes. That's the answer to the question. Both.
That's why it's there in brackets.
I mean, if you're staying at Golden Lake and you're looking for some place to play, both Homestead at Wolf Ridge and Whitetail would be your 2 main choices. You also have, not too far away, a little bit of a drive, but not too far away, would be Oaks of Cobden, and Renfrew, and possibly Dragonfly. But closest to you, 2 outstanding golf courses I have had a chance to play very recently. And stay tuned to that. You will see something popping up on the YouTube channel very, very shortly that may even help with that decision. But Homestead or Wolford.
Barry's Bay would be another option as well if they're looking for another one. So
Homestead at Wolf Ridge is a beautiful, beautiful piece of property, as is Whitetail. I mean, you kind of get the sense, honestly, if you're driving up to that area to go on vacation, maybe you've already been up in that area before, maybe you haven't, but if you're driving up in that area, you really kind of get a sense that if you are going to play golf up there, that you're going to be playing some golf courses that have some pretty decent elevations on some pretty decent property, because it's just the nature of the land itself, the topography up there. It's pretty spectacular. So
yeah, you're talking Highway 60 on the way to Algonquin Park. So I mean, as soon as you hear the words Algonquin Park, you can have an idea of what you're going to start to see up there as far as forests and so forth. And there's a lot of sand up there. Through the ground, obviously. So you that's reflected in the golf courses when you see it, as far as the shaping. And
you can't go wrong with those 2.
No.
And then the other ones we mentioned, Barry's Bay, Renfrew, Cobden, Dragonfly, all very good golf courses. But closest to you, Homestead at Wolf Ridge and Whitetail Golf Club would be the 2. I mean, I guess that I would recommend. It sounds like both you guys are experienced golfers. Have you ever had times where you have struggled with parts of your golf game, and how did you get through that? I quit.
No. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, there we go. We don't have any more questions for the rest of the show. We'll just spend our time talking about this one.
Yeah. I think we'll just forego. How much? Let me just check here. Oh, we got 17. Yeah, we got about 15 minutes or so to go here.
Why don't you start with this?
You want me to start with parts of my game
we've all had
struggled with? I'm still struggling with parts of my game. Look, here's the thing. There are 2 schools of thought here, because you're going to get an answer from somebody whose give a crap meter when it comes to his golf game is very low. Do I get frustrated with my game sometimes? Yes. Do I get upset with how I play when I'm out on the golf course? I tell people when I'm playing that I don't give a care. I don't care, but I do. I
You
care
do.
very much when I don't play well, and it
Sure.
upsets me, but I just try not to let it bother me too much because I know I don't play enough to worry about it. I refuse to work on my game. I don't ever work on my game, period. I don't practice putting. I don't practice chipping. I used to. When I was younger and I had a lot more time on my hands, I spent an awful lot of time practicing and working. Okay, my putting needs to. I worked on my putting. I went to the range a lot. I tried to work on, fixing some things myself. I don't really ever take lessons. I know Scott, being a pro and a friend, has tried to help at times, and I think I would be one of his most frustrating students because to work with,
Not
because I
really.
really don't improve when anybody helps me, because I really don't work at it. So have I struggled with parts of my game? Yes. What do I do to get through it? I just keep playing. Um, and I play. Over the last 10 years, I've played for anything as low as a 1.6 index to where I'm at now, which is about a 5.5. And I generally play to my handicap at 5.5 or 6 most of the time when I play. And I play at most once a week. Sometimes your swing just gets to a point too where you just really kind of know what it does and you just work with it.
Yeah.
So I play through problems. I don't work at
Yeah.
it. Now, on the other side of the screen, if you're watching, is a golf pro who I know practices, who I know works on his game. So I think he's going to have a little bit more insight as to what to do when things aren't going
Yeah.
wrong. That's far more professional than what I just gave you. I gave you the guy that golfs. I don't work on my game answer.
Yeah.
He can give his answer, and I'm just gonna drink some tea and sit back. And yes, it's just I got to lean a bit. Okay, all right, take it away, Scott.
Yeah, we all struggle. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. You end up struggling with your game. You know, it's happened various times in my golf career, sometimes at the wrong time. Um, Believe me, I pretty much had the what are you doing over there? I pretty much had the yeah, okay. I pretty much had the driver yips when I was doing my playability for the PGA, so not so fun. You know, as Jess said, perseverance is important. Sometimes you just if it's just something that's happening once or twice, you know, just keep playing through that. There's no reason to kind of rebuild your whole golf game. As far as the other aspects of it, yeah, you know what? It's a little different for me being a golf professional who looks at his golf game and swing all the time. Thanks, Jeff. Um, but so yeah, you know what? I'll spend some time. I don't practice as much as I used to. I do have the advantage of being able to, you know, kind of hit onesies and twosies for golf balls, and I can do that, you know, kind of in the house if I want to, which is nice. But really, a lot of it will be thinking a lot about the game and what I've done and you know, trying to get as simple of a solution as possible, because again, I don't have a ton of time to practice with it. In fact, I probably learn more from doing lessons with people, and it reminds me of things that I need to be doing in my own game more than anything. So perseverance is the biggest thing. You know, don't be shy about getting some actual professional help versus just things that are random, especially advice from buddies and stuff like that. I hear it and see that all the time, and it's quite wild how the direction it takes people in. I can be doing a lesson and somebody will be standing right next to me, you know, coaching their buddy, and you can tell they're just taking them in the wrong direction. But you know, learn about what you do in your golf swing. That's the biggest thing. Learn your game, because no matter what, your coach, your buddy, your parent, your whatever is not going to be there when you are on the golf course. So you got to know what you do well, and that's going to be often very different than the ideal, which, you know, we don't really teach so much anymore. It's about ideal for each person. So persevere, you know, be surgical as far as picking out what it is, but it's usually not a million things. And you know, put in some practice. So there you go.
There you go.
Are you all right? You back, Jeff?
Oh yeah, no, I find
Okay.
I got a little bit of a
Sure.
read in there.
Okay,
I just
good.
didn't. I didn't want to. I don't want to cloud my head with these thoughts of what to do to fix. I
Oh,
didn't
okay.
want to know
Yeah.
because I don't.
Yeah. I mean,
Not
we
my
could do a
thing.
whole podcast on it, but
no, we can't.
We're not at this point. So yeah, okay.
We could, but we can't.
Sure. There you go.
All right. I kind of like this next question a little bit, only because this kind of takes me back a little bit to road trips that we used to do when we were doing a lot of road trip travel things. What's the optimum length of time for a buddy golf trip, in your opinion? We have 8 players, and I'm not sure what is too much golf for some of them. Okay. So I'm going to answer this question.
You go ahead. I'm going to read.
Oh, you got a book there? Okay. So I'm going to answer this question
2009 PGA Tour Guide.
Oh, well, just a little light reading.
Reading
for Scott McLeod. Sure. So Scott and I did for years, going all the way back to 1997. Did golf road trips that we did. A road trip every fall for the magazine where we did golf travel, and we would go to a destination, and back then we were pushing 11 days a lot of those trips, and we were doing probably about 9 rounds of golf in 11 days with a day of travel on each end. And we were driving, so some of those were longer, some of them were 12, 13 day trips. What we discovered during those road trips was that there became, it was never about the golf being too much golf. It was never about playing too much golf. We liked playing the golf.
Right.
It became about the length of the trip, where it just gets to the point, at some point you're traveling too much. You're golfing and then you're going out for dinner. You're golfing and then you're going for lunch. You're golfing and then you're like, oh, what do we do tonight? We don't have a round of golf. Well, let's go to the mall. And then we're going to this restaurant or this. We weren't really the go to bars and drink our faces off kind of buddy trip. It wasn't really that kind of trip. So if it's a buddy trip, there comes a point where there's only so much of that you can do.
Right.
I feel, again, my opinion, I feel you get to the point where you're just too long. So I would, if I were doing a trip now, it would be under 7 days, probably 5 max, and I would golf. Like it's a golf trip. I would be focused on getting a couple rounds a day in if I can. If there's a particular course that's a real tough, challenging golf, I wouldn't suggest doing Pinehurst number 2 and Pinehurst number 4 on the same day. You might want to just do Pinehurst number 2 in the morning. Get a nice morning tee time if you can. Get that out of the way. Then you have some lunch and a nap, because
you're going to be tired.
You're going to be dead. So that's kind of what I would look at. 5 days is kind of like, it depends on where you're going too. Like if you're going to Scotland, you're not going to necessarily go for 5 days. You might go, you get a lot of travel there, time changes. You need a little bit of, some kind of acclimation.
Sure. Yeah.
You don't want to just jump off the plane and run out to a golf course and play in the pouring rain or anything like that. That's probably not something you want to do.
It's good for the back, isn't it?
It's terrible for the back. Oh, what a that was terrible. Like, honestly, that's the worst my back has ever felt in ever. And I'm older now, and it's not that never been that bad. Anyway, that's my opinion.
I agree as far as the time wise. I mean, as far as optimum, I mean, I think that
you do get tired of each other too after a while.
Yes, and that's exactly
not that you're not friends and you're not buddies,
no.
but there does come a point in there where it's like you start you can't tolerate the idiosyncrasies anymore.
Yes, and that's where I was going to go with, is that from the time wise, a lot of it depends on the number of people involved. Because the more people that you have, the more complicated it gets, the more conflict in personalities that occur, the more, as you said, idiosyncrasies, stuff like that. You'll see some things develop, whereas everybody at first, it's like honeymoon period. You go, you're excited or whatever, and then things start to grate a little bit. So I'd say, keep it a little bit tighter. The length, as you said, a lot of it will depend on the any extra travel and stuff as far as between. I would recommend always, if you can do a trip where you don't have to travel a lot between courses, much better. If you don't want to be wasting all your time just driving.
Yeah.
And that becomes a little bit of a struggle. So try to create some loops that are a little bit closer, where you can have a hub where you can just go out to the golf courses. I find those are better as far as the trips are concerned. If you have to spend a lot of time just on the road, that sort of drags a little bit, and it's not what you want to be doing. You want to be doing the golfing. So shorter rather than longer. The longer they get, the more complicated they get. It's like a recipe. I mean, recipes are great when there's 3-4 ingredients, but as soon as that recipe starts to have 7, 8, 9 ingredients, it becomes a crapshoot of what's going to happen on the other end of it. So especially with large groups, certainly a lot of things that have to be done from a planning wise, but I would say 5 to 7 days kind of max, and don't go beyond that. Otherwise you start to get into complications that will make the trip not as fun and not as memorable. In a good way.
Little extension to that. Someone asked if you go on a 36 hole a day buddy trip, what's the secret to physical survival? Generally beer. I would say is the secret to survival. Though I don't want to encourage alcoholic consumption on a buddy trip, so I'll stay out of that one. They asked about midday stretching, changing your shoes between rounds, or just pure ibuprofen. All of the above.
Naps when you can.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on your age and your tolerance level. I know that if I was 22, I could probably just burn this out without much water or anything in between. But it's all of the above. It's not really, a 36 hole a day buddy trip isn't really any different than any other day of a lot of golf. Hydration if it's hot. Changing your shoes if you've got them. Sure, change your shoes. Probably more change your socks than your shoes. I mean, the shoes aren't really going to change a whole lot by changing your shoes, but changing out your socks, that kind of thing. Anyway, not going to spend a lot of time on that, but and ibuprofen, of course.
And don't be shy about giving yourself a little bit of a rest. I mean, even though you're having 36 holes a day, sometimes you're going to be the one to kind of go, hey, maybe the weakest course, maybe you don't want to play, take that one off, go have a nap, and keep yourself fresh. So 36 a day is and for that, even though you love to walk, carts are pretty good, and caddies work well too. That reduces the stress. So,
and just remember, when the trip is over, you can sleep. So leave it at that. If you had to choose between playing a very wet course and a very dry course, which you prefer and why? Well, very dry over very wet. I don't want to play a wet golf course. I don't.
No, I think I'm not going to put words in their mouth, but I mean, very dry. I think they're probably referring to like an extreme dry, dusty, gross. You know what I mean? Not just a dry golf course. We're talking about extremes on both sides, but I think clearly the dry. I'll take a golf course where the ball is bouncing all over the place.
Oh yeah, I'll take the extra 50 yards and the extra spin and not have to walk through sopping wet and deal with plug lies and. Dry.
And if you're the person that really wants to play that wet golf course, don't call me.
Yeah,
I don't want to play with you.
Exactly, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, okay, and hey, you could probably come to Ottawa right now because there's a lot of wet golf courses.
Yeah, you could. Okay, so let's do what do we got here? We got about let's see, we got time for a few more here.
All right.
Let's say I was invited to play golf with a friend at a private golf club where he is a member. I hope he was a member if he invited you to play at a private golf club.
Yeah.
How does that usually work when it comes to green fees? Does he pay? Pay or do I pay? And if he pays, how do I make it up to him? Oh boy. To be honest, a lot of private golf clubs don't have a pay option like that. It's generally the member has to pay it on their account. I guess if I were to, I've been invited to play private golf clubs a ton over the last 30 years. And I've never paid anybody for the golf. And I generally just try to, if I'm trying to, it depends on who it is too, I suppose. If you know the person really well, you can, say, what do I owe you for the green fee? And they might say, don't worry about it. I got it. or you can get me when we go somewhere else or something like that. And generally that's kind of like, I guess, the tit for tat sort of deal. That I would think that the next time you go play golf, maybe if you feel like you want to, maybe you offer to pay for their green fee to repay them, or you take them out for dinner, or you...
this is obviously not a situation where they reciprocate. If they're a member as well. If they're a member, usually if you're a member as well at a private club, you reciprocate, maybe host them back. I would consider, like you said, make the offer. If they say no, that's okay or whatever, then just consider a gift. And you might want to even ask them beforehand, what happens or whatever, and bring them a gift, maybe a nice bottle of something or whatever. And that would
always works.
That would be a nice way to repay them for hosting you and so forth. But at least you should make the gesture more than anything. But yeah, that's probably the easiest way. But yes, as you said, in most cases at most member clubs, there's not really an option to go in as a guest and pay your green fees. Sometimes there might be, but in a lot of cases the member will want to take care of that anyways. If they're planning to host you, as we say. But yeah, just a nice gift afterwards, maybe a thank you note even as well. Anything like that would go a long way.
Okay. Let me see here. Is it bad? I'm gonna bring. Okay, yeah. Is it bad etiquette to wear my golf shoes on the airplane if I'm trying to save space in my carry-on bag, or am I going to look like a total psycho? Well, I think the answer, this is just crazy. If I had to answer this question, there'd be two sort of schools of thought, in my opinion. Is it bad etiquette to wear your golf shoes on the airplane? No, because I don't really think that matters a whole lot. Are you going to look like a total psycho? Well, I guess that depends on the golf shoes for one thing. I mean, a lot of my golf shoes, I could just you wouldn't even know that I'm not wearing just running shoes.
Right. Yeah. So I think nowadays there's,
if you're wearing FootJoy Classics or something,
that might be a little
on
bit
the
different.
heel or something, and you got full on soft spikes underneath.
You might imagine wearing like metal spikes.
I don't think there's any etiquette associated with it.
No,
everybody's got to save a buck, especially now flying. I mean,
sure,
you save the space, go for it. Put your sandals in your carry-on and wear your golf shoes. I got no problem with that. And I wouldn't think that you were a psycho. But
somebody
now,
might.
if you were fully decked out in your golf gear, like you had your shorts and your shirt, your hat, you had the whole everything, you look golf and you're wearing your golf shoes, then I might think you might be a little bit of a nut job. But
you're going to get the question right away, sir. You going?
Are you going golfing?
Well, I'll tell you this: I like to be a compact packer, and sometimes I get to go on some trips where it's like they're short term, and I might just have a backpack, and obviously if you have clubs or whatever. Combo type shoes, there's lots these days. There's lots of shoes that, as you said, they look, they're a golf shoe, but they look more like a running shoe. If you wear something like that, you're perfectly fine. That's probably the best way to go about doing it. But yeah, if you have, as Jeff said, if you have full on, FootJoy Classics with spikes and stuff like that, and you might end up on your ass in the airport too if you're sliding down the hallway on that. So that's funny.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave us on that one. I was gonna try to slide one more in, but I don't want to. It might be a little more. We'll save. We'll pull a couple of these into another podcast another time, because I skipped a bunch, so there's probably still another 10 or so that we have in here. But
sounds good.
Let's leave on that one because it was kind of funny. Thank you for everybody that sent in questions for the mailbag. We love this segment. Can't do it all the time because we don't want to turn it into a mailbag show. But that was a lot of fun. Appreciate the questions. I hope you appreciate the answers. We appreciate you. Thanks to all our sponsors, Metcalf Golf Club, Falcon Ridge Golf Club, and our presenting sponsor this week, of course, Cobra Golf, with the all-new 3D printed irons featuring fully 3D printed club heads. These irons deliver an unmatched blend of feel, forgiveness, and precision shaping that goes well beyond the limits of traditional forging and casting. Experience the future of iron performance and get fit for your Cobra 3D printed irons today. Visit cobragolf.ca for more information. We do hope that you have enjoyed watching and hearing us this week, however you tune in. Be sure to follow us across all social media networks, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Facebook, and subscribe to us on Spotify, Audible, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. Don't forget the YouTube channel. Like us and click the notification bell. Make sure you never miss a single episode. Get over to flagstick.com. More amazing golf content published every single day. Subscribe to the Flagstick Digest newsletter, free of charge, delivered to your inbox 3 times a week. You will enjoy it. But, as always, we appreciate you tuning in. Until next week, I'm Jeff Botter.
I'm Scott McLeod.
Remember, always go for the stick.